and you are hearing Voices of Innovation. I'm here with Dr. Ware and Miss Jessica Ghazi from the Howard School and Hamilton County Schools, Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we're going to engage in a conversation today about their Flex Academy. This program is designed to support students and to ensure that we are bridging gaps to post-secondary access. How are you doing, Dr. Ware?
I'm doing well today. How are you, Dr. Houston?
I'm doing wonderful, and thank you for joining us today. And how are you, Ms. Ghazi?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for asking.
Thank you. And we just want you to tell us a little bit about yourselves. Dr. Ware, would you begin?
Absolutely. So I am Dr. Leandria Ware, proud executive principal here at the Howard School. I've been here, my team and I transitioned in May of 2018. So right at about 3 years now, and so much has happened, so many exciting things. The number one thing I like to say about my journey as principal here at Howard School is that I am a proud graduate of Howard School. And so not that many years ago, I was a student myself, sitting in the seats here at Howard School and really having that experience of what it means to be a hustling tiger. And so now to come back as the executive principal and to have the privilege to be able to serve the families and the students of this community, I would rather be nowhere else. I will tell you my journey in education. I got my start here at Howard School. When I was a student, I was a part of what we called a peer educator project. And with that opportunity, as a high schooler, we were able to go to the middle schools and the elementary schools and teach students about substance abuse and peer pressure. And so my teachers saw something in me. They thought, you know what, you're really good. You're patient, you're kind. You do a great job when you're explaining to the students and giving examples. We think you should become a teacher. And so I did. I actually won a scholarship to go to college, any college I wanted to become an educator. And so I did attend UTC, UT Chattanooga, right here in our city, not far from Howard High School, and got my bachelor's degree in education and returned to the very community that helped to cultivate me into who I am today. I've been in education 26 years now. I've been an elementary teacher, middle school teacher. I've been a consulting teacher where I had the opportunity to travel to different schools across the district and coach other teachers. I've been an assistant principal at the middle and high school level and elementary level, assistant principal at elementary level. I even served as a director of priority schools here in Hamilton County. But again, my love, my dream job, where I am today, the Howard School.
Thank you, Dr. Ware. You've always been surrounded around innovation, and congratulations for winning Tennessee Principal of the Year. That's a major accomplishment.
Thank you so much. Couldn't do it without the great team that we have here at Howard School.
Thank you. And Ms. Ghazi, would you like to give us a little background about who you are and what you do at the Howard School?
Absolutely. I have been here just about 10 years now. I'm coming up on it here soon. But I started here as a science teacher, started teaching environmental science, had some exposure to the school through the Gear Up program, which runs out of UTC. And I just fell in love with Howard. The school's been absolutely amazing to me. It has, I never thought I'd be a public school teacher. But as soon as I came in here and I met the kids, it's been my deepest heart's desire. So been here ever since. Dr. Ware has allowed me to really work with a lot of autonomy in the science department to just bring the best and the brightest teachers here to align our classes to get our students exactly the exposure that they need. And much like Dr. Ware, I love it here. It's the perfect job. And I'm so thankful, particularly to be a hustling tiger right now, when we just have the best staff, we have the best initiatives, and things are really moving in the right direction. It feels great to be here.
So energy is a really big part of Howard, it seems, and that seems to be a part of innovation and how you impact students through the Flex Academy. And so, Ms. Ghazi, you serve as the administrator for the Flex Academy. Is that correct?
I sure do.
And can you tell us a little bit about that role? What do you do as administrator of the Flex Academy?
Absolutely. So my focus is on the academics that the students are trying to recover. In most cases, we're dealing with students that have taken a course and didn't quite get a high enough grade to pass. So we've gone through kind of with a fine tooth comb, looked at the standards that the student was missing, and then we've tried to create customized courses. So that's been a big piece of what I do is working with content level teachers to figure out exactly what each student needs to facilitate that. And then also just to be creative about the ways that we do it. We know that there's a lot of creative ways in which we can help students and work with them. So we are using a mix of in-person classes. We are allowing kids to work on Edgenuity. We're using Canvas as our home base. So really organizing and streamlining everything. And then also developing our individualized success plans for our students that hold them accountable. So every teacher is making a targeted plan with students that will get them right to that May 14th finish line. And I'm monitoring that, checking in, making sure that our kids are on pace and our students or that our teachers are working with them as appropriately as possible.
So it's important to have an administrator, Dr. Ware, that has close contact with the teachers, that has a hands-on experience through the Flex Academy, and that really knows the students. And so, Dr. Ware, if you could you explain to us the process of how this Flex Academy came about at your school?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I talked about my journey here at Howard School as a student. Howard was originated in 1865, the first school for African American students here in the city of Chattanooga. And Howard has always been about 98, 99% African American. However, over the last 6 years, we've seen a significant shift demographically to where today we are 50% Latino, 48% African American, and about 2% other. In addition to that, of that 50% Latino, about 30% of those students are, they've been outside of a formalized education setting for about 4 years on average, and they speak very little to no English at all. And so when they come to us, they're overage. A lot of times they're 16, 17 years old. Again, they come in, they've been out of that structure for a long time. They're trying to acclimate themselves to this new way of life. And so what we've done here in terms of understanding some of those challenges, we gave our students a survey because we realized a lot of our students were just falling by the wayside. So we gave a survey. Out of that survey, 35% of our students told us that they work actual jobs, not because they want to, but because they have to. And understanding that and realizing that that traditional structure doesn't necessarily work for everyone anymore. We had to come up with an innovative, non-traditional, flexible pathway to really help our students get back on par for being an on-time graduate here at Howard School. And so that was the birth of the Flex Academy. You know, we started out calling it Transition Academy. It's now evolved into the Flex Academy, where again, we develop an individualized success plan for every single student. We know who those students are that are struggling to make it. We develop those individualized success plans. We sit down with those students. We make sure that they have a finish line coach and that they have dedicated instructors provided that intensified support to help them get across that finish line. Just like Ms. Ghazi said, we know May 14th, that's the date for us to get them across that finish line. And so we're working very diligently with a very dedicated team of people to make sure that every one of those students receive the support he or she needs to get to that finish line.
Thank you, Dr. Ware. Sounds like this program requires some dedicated staff members. And so could you talk about the hours that students attend the Flex Academy, and then how do you support the staff members that actually teach in that program?
So I'll start with there, and then Ms. Ghazi, if you had anything to add, feel free to do so. But again, when we talk about being flexible, we're really trying to have a time frame, whether it's early in the morning before students have to go to work, if it's after work in the evening time when students are available and they've gotten off of a job and they have time to commit to dedicate to their studies. We're even having sessions on Saturdays for students to come in. And so we've paired together a mixture of in-person and online courses to allow students to be able to get the support they need. And then again, having those teachers who have very flexible availability to where they're available for students in the morning, early in the mornings. After school, we try to run from 4:30 until about 7 p.m., sometimes 8 p.m., depending on what the students need. And then again, bringing them in on Saturdays to make sure that we're providing them services and support to get where they need to be. And again, the people that we have working these programs, they knew up front that one of the number one skill sets that they had to have, or characteristics they needed, was flexibility. Flexibility is key, because for the students that we're serving right now, we don't ever know when their situation is going to change and require us to be able to transition with them. And so that's why, we've selected people who are willing and able to be flexible right along with our students and provide them what they need.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Sounds like in order to support these students in this academy, you have to be flexible with time, flexible with resources, and definitely flexible in location, because I understand that you provide alternative spaces for students to meet so they can work together in smaller groups. Is that correct?
We have, we had a really good partnership with the Bethlehem Community Center that is maybe about a mile away from Howard School. And with that partnership, they volunteered to allow us to use space in their building where students were able to, if they could not get here to the school, or if that location was just a little more convenient for them, they were able to show up there and participate with instructors from the Howard School and have access to technology and the resources that they needed to also get that hands-on support in person, if they couldn't necessarily, again, be here on campus.
Thank you. And Ms. Ghazi, as the administrator of the program, I know that you have actually had hands-on experiences with teachers and students, also as parents. So if you had to just think about the entire process and the Flex Academy in and of itself, and if you had to put this into your own words, how would you define Howard Flex?
Well, it's hard to think of it without the word flexible or flexibility or adaptable. Those are definitely in our roots here. So, when Dr. Ware was talking about the schedule, we put up some guardrails. We said we'll definitely be available from 4:30 to 8 every weekday, but we have all worked past that if a student is available. So, that's it. Flexibility is the name of the game, without question. It's meeting the students where they are, but also a big piece for us is just maintaining positivity. We know we're going to have setbacks. We know that our students are facing some real challenges, and things pop up from week to week. We don't always meet the goals that we want to meet. But, we're not here to be critical of students. We're here to be empathetic. We're here to build relationships with them and to be supportive, really to be advocates for these kids. They're at a critical time in their life, and all we want to do is help them to get a critical win right now at a time when, the world is telling them who they're going to be. They're shaping their sense of self-worth. It's just, we're here for them. We're their biggest advocate.
Sounds amazing. And so I heard you earlier talk about the individual support plans that the students have in the Flex Academy. And I know that Administrator Ghazi does a lot of work to help support the students and the teachers in developing those. But earlier in the conversation, Dr. Ware, you talked about the demographics of the Howard School. And I know that in addition to hosting this Flex Academy to support senior students and making sure that they cross the finish line to graduate, there's also a school-wide initiative that you all are implementing. Could you talk to us a little bit about what you're doing to support English as a second language in your building through a program called Elevation?
Absolutely. So when we talk about, our work here at Howard School, we always talk about that collective efficacy. And that means that we all have to pull together, hold one another mutually accountable, and make sure that there's even that, what I call reciprocal accountability. As an administrator, I hugely believe that for every task or requirement that I have of any person, faculty, or staff who works in this building, that I have an even larger responsibility to make sure that the resources, the supports, the training, whatever they need is available to help them be able to meet that task and do a great job with it. And so in thinking about that, we have established what we call the Elevation Learning Lab. And the Elevation Learning Lab is all about how can we work together collectively as a faculty, as a whole, to make sure that it does not matter what classroom our students enter in this building, they are being presented with those research-based best practices and strategies and learning techniques that's going to help them be able to achieve and be successful. And what we've learned about elevation, it's found in research based, and it's not just for English language learners, but these are strategies that are great for any student that is struggling academically. And so we have trained every single instructor in this building. We have a full 2-day cycle of that professional development of learning about those techniques and those strategies and how to embed them into our teaching and learning here in the building. And then we have 3 weeks of what we call mid-cycle commitments, where we all commit that these are the strategies that you are going to see cohesively throughout our building. And so as the students move from class to class, subject to subject, they are building a stronger background and a stronger toolbox of how to use those strategies so that they can be successful in any classroom. And again, what I love about it is it's not just the English department or the ESL department, it's everyone, the science department, math department, CTE, fine arts, everyone working together collectively to present those best practices and strategies to students so that we can make sure we're delivering quality instruction and guaranteeing quality instruction every day.
Thank you. Sounds like you all have a very strategic plan to support students that learn with English as a second language. And so I do know that during our initial conversations, Ms. Ghazi, we talked about population of the Flex Academy mirroring the actual population of the students that attend Howard. And so having said that, I know that there are some strategies that you're using to support students that meet the same backgrounds as those do in the traditional school day. So how does elevation translate into the PM program or to the Flex Academy at your school?
Yeah, so as Dr. Ware mentioned, all of the staff that are included have been trained in those elevation strategies. And as she said, it's great for academic language, regardless if you're trying to learn the English language as well. They're just great teaching practices to use with students. So everybody within our team has been trained on that and has been observed implementing them. But secondly, our ace in the hole, we have Miss Dyer, who is our ESOL teacher. She is the co-department chair, and she has been absolutely outstanding. She's taken on a whole lot of kids that she is monitoring personally. And so what we found sometimes is that a lot of students will just come and work near her, just as kind of like a backup there, and that they'll still work with their science teacher or their math teacher. But I think Miss Dyer is like an extra like a security blanket, if you will, an extra layer to help the students really feel comfortable. And we've seen that. We had a young man that is an ESOL student. He's just not really comfortable being in front of a full class right now. But he was more than comfortable to come to Flex Academy, and he's had outstanding attendance. He's been coming for 2 weeks straight. I've worked with him one-on-one along with the other science teacher. And that's what this is all about, right? It's meeting kids where they are. It's adapting to them. And we certainly are doing that, particularly with the help of Ms. Dyer.
Okay. And thank you for that, Ms. Ghazi. It seems like resources, strategic plans, and data play a huge role in what you all are doing to support students in an innovative way at the Howard School. And so as we wrap this portion of the interview up, I want to ask you one last question, Ms. Ghazi, and then I'll ask you, Dr. Ware. Ms. Ghazi, what advice would you give a school who is attempting to start their own Flex Academy? What best practices would you share with them?
I think the number one thing that we've learned here in these last few weeks is it's all about the right people. Schools are full of buildings, or schools are full of teachers that really know their content, and that's fantastic, and that's an integral part of teaching. But what we've really benefited from in the Flex Academy are teachers that build strong relationships with students, that are deeply empathetic, and that understand and accept any challenges that we get faced with from day to day. That's just been the heart of this, and that's what I would take any day of the week. And I can see it in our students when they're excited. They come to my classroom and they wait for everybody to show up, and they'll be like, there go my teacher, that's the one I want to work with tonight. And they're excited because we've invested in them. We're holding them accountable. We are texting and calling them daily just to check in and letting them know, like, we wish that you were here, but we understand why you're not. Tomorrow's a new day. We're going to start all over. And then, of course, as the name implies, just flexibility. It was really important for us to put up some structures and some guardrails immediately. So, we set up some times, we started to open ourselves up and be here and be available on Zoom, and that's all fine and good. And it has worked extraordinarily well in a lot of cases. But like Dr. Ware said, just knowing that at the drop of a dime, if a kid needs morning sessions, we're going to shuffle around. We're going to find a way to be here in the morning. Same thing. I worked here Friday night, and I had a young man I'd worked with him in person Thursday night. Friday night, we were all on Zoom, and he just wanted to be on Zoom while he did problems. So every 30 minutes, he would pop up and say, is this right? And I would say, yes, sir, you're good. And then we'd keep going. And we just kept it for hours of that. And I'm more than happy to do that. And it was, I was here working regardless. So that's the big thing. You got to get the right people, and they got to have the right mindset, and this thing can take off.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Ghazi, for all that you do. And Dr. Ware, as we wrap up, there's just been some wonderful things that have happened at the Howard School. And sometimes in conversations, you're referred to as the Teflon principal, because you do whatever it takes, and you and your team really do whatever it takes to get to the next level. And during some of the earlier conversations that you had with your team, when the first way didn't work and the second way didn't work, you encouraged everyone to find a third way. Knowing that this year is very different for principals across the nation, and as we've been dealing with COVID-19, can you tell us what impact this program has had on student outcomes for school during this term? And how do you expect this to positively continue in the end as you reflect on meeting your goals?
Absolutely. And so that you hit the nail on the head when you talk about what we believe here at Howard School. We're all about understanding that we have to be open to that organic, fluid process of figuring out what works best for the students whom we serve. And I will say, just COVID-19 is no secret. It's been very difficult for a lot of people just across the nation. I stood in front of the faculty on Zoom when we returned to school this year, and I expressed that, the one thing we all had in common was that we were starting our very first year together, because none of us have ever taught or lived through COVID-19. And so just with that understanding, I think it's been amazing the way that our people and our students have been resilient, how we have adapted, how we have learned to operate in a different manner because it's been required of us. And that's exactly what I believe about Flex Academy. It's just one more of those things that we have rallied together to try to figure out, okay, what do we need to do so that we can build a structure, we can build some routines, we can build some support systems that are going to get our kids back on track. We since March 13th of 2020, the learning loss has been significant. And so a lot of our students have kind of gravitated to full-time jobs and household responsibilities because they've just been trying to live. And so again, like Ms. Ghazi said, having those relationships, knowing who we serve, and then finding out from them, not building some structure and just saying, here, fit into this, take that round peg into the square hole. No, finding out from them, what is it that you need? How can we help you? What can you commit to with the support of the entire team? And then just being willing to give 210% to make sure that we have those supports necessary and we can walk every student, again, hand in hand, we can walk with them and make sure they cross that finish line, and not just cross that finish line, but there is some solid next steps plan, be it college or career, but they are ready to go out there and to change and significantly impact life, not just for themselves, but for generations to come, because of the foundation and the structures and supports provided here at the Howard School.
Thank you, Dr. Ware, and thank you again, Ms. Ghazi, for all that you do. Up next, we'll be hearing from a student voice from the field about the innovative practices that are occurring at the Howard Flex Academy. And we're here with an actual student voice from the Howard School.
I am in the 12th grade, getting ready to graduate within 2 months. And I'm very excited about graduating.
Okay, what are your plans after high school?
I plan to attend college. I don't know which college yet, but I plan to go. If not, then I plan to get a high paying job.
Okay. So this year has been a little different, right?
Yes.
Especially with the pandemic. So if you just think about, as you reflect over the course of this year as a senior, how has COVID-19 impacted your school year?
It kind of made it a little rough because, like, when I was in 9th grade, I planned on doing like having fun and doing like wearing out a dress code and going outside, going on college trips and field trips to different places to look it around and get a seeing and viewing of it. But with COVID going on, we can't do it.
What about your classes? How has COVID-19 impacted you being able to go to school?
It was kind of a little bit hard because doing online school, it's not always easy as coming in school and getting better help, because teachers they be kind of busy with helping other students, so they can't get back to you, as fast as they would be able to if we was in class.
Okay. So if we think about the Flex Academy at the Howard School, why do you think, or how do you think you were selected to participate?
I was selected to participate because I'm a hardworking young lady. I do my work. I don't give up. Um, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we know that the program is designed to help you get on track to be able to graduate on time. So can you talk about your experiences or how you found this program to be helpful with making that goal of graduating on time?
Yes, because like with us having ingenuity classes,
Mhm,
sometimes ingenuity it takes a little while to get finished.
mhm.
But with going to that program, you have a lot of help. You have a lot of help with teachers from Howard and from other schools. They help you out. They explain it to you, push you through it. With them being there, you will be almost finished, or maybe you will finish early.
So I know that the program is flexible. We learned that from Ms. Ghazi and from Dr. Ware. And so they have the AM portion and they have the PM portion. Which portion do you attend?
I attend the PM portion after school.
Okay. And do you find that to be more helpful with your schedule?
Yes.
Okay. And I know that you talked about receiving support from the teachers with the online classes that were built. And Dr. Ware told us that there were classes that were actually made to support students that were in the Flex Academy. As you think about the help that you've received, can you think of anything in particular that you would have gotten from this program that would be different than what you would have gotten if you had been in traditional school?
Mm, I think only thing that's a little bit different was me getting like an explanation or examples different that has came from different teachers that's from different schools.
Okay. And as we think about this program and you being able to getting those examples from other teachers, what do you find most engaging or what makes you most interested in being a part of the Flex Academy?
Because I mean, I find it interesting because you don't too much find schools that's willing to help students graduate, willing to push them, willing to stay later than they supposed to or longer, giving you all the help that you need, bringing in teachers from other schools, having them help you differently with different subjects that you have.
Gotcha. And now that we've talked about what is interesting about it, how do you think that being a part of this program has been valuable, or what about it has really helped you see the benefit of being in this program?
Because it helped with the classes I had on Edgenuity, it helped me finish those faster. Because if those wouldn't be finished, you can't graduate if you still got classes on Edgenuity. It helped me finish those quicker. It helped me bring my grades up with the classes that I was already in. It helped me get more of my work done with the work that I had already going on with the classes that I was already in. It helped me get ahead a little bit more.
So would you say that this program, because it is flexible, it allowed you to increase your attendance?
Yes.
Okay. And would you say that because this program has teachers to help you, that it has done anything to help you reach your graduation goals in a timely manner?
Yes.
Okay. And what advice would you give a student who may have been disengaged with school or who may have fallen off track from graduation? What advice would you give them so that they could get back on track like you have?
I would definitely tell them to attend this program and get all the help that they can get, because the teachers are willing to give all the help that they would give. And don't give up, because it's always light at the end of the tunnel. They will push you to get there. You will get there. All you have to do is come. If you can't come, you can Zoom. So
Brianna, is there anything else you would like to tell anyone?
no.
Thank you so much for your time. And we'll
You're welcome.
hear another voice from the field. And we're back with another voice from the field. What are your plans after high school?
Go to college and be an engineer. I want to be an engineer, technology. I learn about technology.
Okay, sounds really good. And so I know that this year has been very different for you. This year, we've been going through the COVID-19 pandemic. And as you reflect over this school year, how has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted learning?
I'm not really just wearing a mask. It's a little different, but kids still get their work done. I still get my work done. I do it at home, so it's different. I try my hardest to do it.
So how has learning virtually affected your ability to engage in class?
It's too many people. I'll say too many people. I work better. I work better by myself, focused, because if you have too many people, they'll throw you off. It's kids that play and do all of that.
Okay. So how do you think that this program has been beneficial? I know that it meets. I
Track
know
practice
that.
from Mr. Shackelford.
Pause.
Track practice, please meet at the new track at 4:15
You
p.m.
paused it?
All students for track practice, please meet at the new track at 4:15 p.m. for track practice per Mr. Shackelford. Again, students, bus 401 is picking up for bus 400 today.
Lots of things going on at the Howard School after school. And so I do know that the Flex Academy, because we're just announced it. Lots of things going on at the Howard School this afternoon. So I know that Dr. Ware just announced about the Flex Academy. So has attending the program during the afternoon or early in the morning, has that helped you to increase your attendance in the school day?
Yes, ma'am. In the afternoon, and I sign in when I wake up.
And so, what have you found most engaging about participating in this program?
The teachers and the staff here, they try their best. Well, they do the best to help us. Like Mr. Jones, he came to my house today. They really want us to succeed. They want to see us. They want to see us, and they're the best. And I appreciate that.
And so I heard you say that Mr. Jones came to your house. So home visits are a part of ensuring that students are successful.
Yes, they try their best. They try whatever it is to get us on track. They love us. They don't want us to give up.
So what does it mean for you to be a part of the Flex Academy?
What it mean?
Mhm.
Um, it's really an opportunity. They help you. They help you. They help you.
Okay. An opportunity to receive help towards your goals.
Towards your goals, towards to graduating. They help you. Yeah, towards your goals, towards graduating. They help you a lot.
And can you name one special way that they've helped you this year?
Um, with my classes, they talk to me about my classes because when I first started, my classes were a little bit off, but now that I'm coming consistently, classes are going up. I've been hearing a lot of good jobs, and that's how I know they helping me. That's how I know they helping me well. They're trying their best. They do whatever they can to help us, Howard High School.
So I hear you say that prior to starting the program, you were a little off track. Now you're on track and you know that you're being successful because of the encouragement that you're getting as you attend the program daily. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so, thinking about other students who may have fallen off track, Robert, what advice would you give a student that may want to be where you are and find themselves moving towards the right direction, towards post secondary access? What would you say?
It's worth it. Try your best. It's worth it. It helps you a lot. The teachers help you a lot. They try their best. They try their best. They help you get through it. They never give up on you. You can't give up on yourself.
Well, words spoken from an actual voice from the field. And Robert, is there anything else that you'd like to say to anyone regarding your experience?
Yes, Howard High School is the best school ever, and the Flex program is the best program. I like the way that they're trying to help us. They're trying to help us graduate. They're doing a lot. A lot of schools don't do that. That's how I know they care about us.
Thank you. There you have it, a program that students feel warm about and they feel that they're cared about. Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
Robert.
You welcome.
We know that this year has been much different from the years before. And it's been a different kind of year to spend your senior year doing a COVID-19 pandemic. Can you tell us a little bit about how this pandemic has impacted your school year as a senior in high school?
Mostly it's impacted it by moving everything digitally, no more pencil and paper. It is more organized, but it's hard to keep track of your work sometimes with all the links and stuff, assignments. Yeah.
You navigate through that? How do you navigate through all of the links and the assignments?
Oh, just checking on my Power School mostly, trying to see if I'm up to date on everything. And my teachers help me a lot.
Okay. So we kind of want to know about your experience with the Flex Academy. But before that, why do you think that you were selected to be a part of this special program?
Oh, Mostly because I'm on the verge of graduating. I'm close, but I just have like a few classes that I didn't pass that didn't pass, so I have to redo them. And thanks to the Flex Academy, I'm able to go back and do it.
Okay. And so I know this program operates in the morning and it operates in the afternoon. Uh, which hours do you attend the Flex Academy?
Mostly in the afternoon.
Okay.
It's more convenient for me.
Okay. And have you found being able to attend school um, for longer hours or extended hours or flexible hours to be beneficial to you?
Yeah, because you get extra help and there's teachers here after school, so it's basically extra help.
Okay. And so you talked about the hours of the school being important to you, and you talked about getting extra help from teachers. Can you give us an example of what that extra help would look like?
Oh, what it would look like? Uh, Mostly like I have chemistry work that I had to do, and like one of my chemistry teachers is staying for the Flex Academy, and she explained it to me. She showed me videos, and then she just helped me guided me through the project.
Okay. That's great to receive that extra support, and especially from a teacher that you already know. And so think
Mhm.
about your experience with this particular program. What do you find most engaging about being a part of a Flex Academy?
Mostly because the extra help, and I have a cousin who's a senior as well. She's also in the program. She got in because of me, because like
Wow.
yeah, she had a couple of classes that she didn't that she wasn't passing, so extra help now.
Okay. So we talked about you being a senior. What were your plans after high school?
Oh, for now it's just go to a 2-year college, get my associate's degree, and then after that, I'll just see where it takes me.
Okay. And so how has being in the Flex Academy helped your goal of attending a program to receive an associate's degree uh, more feasible for you?
Because now I'm on track to graduate, so I'm more confident on going in that I'll be able to do it.
Okay. Um, so what do you like or what do you value most about being in the Flex Academy?
Mostly just them being here to help me, and like environment's great. There's everybody's trying to encourage you to do better, try your hardest.
So when we talk about the environment, about how many students are there with you in the afternoons?
It differs because some kids come daily, some work, so some aren't really there all the time. But mostly it's around 30, 40 kids.
Yeah. Okay. And when you're working, do you get to work one-on-one with an instructor or in a small group?
Hmm. Depends on what kind of work you have as well, because like uh, some kids need more one-on-one help. Like me, I just needed like just some extra help and then some time to actually do the work. But other kids like need one-on-one help.
Okay. Okay. And so, do you find it valuable being able to have a teacher that you can connect with after hours to help you move towards your goal of graduating on time?
Yeah, it's very because uh my teacher, Dr. Stumper, she's been a real help to me. And because since I already know her, I've had her class multiple times. She's she really encourages me, helps me.
That's powerful, O'Brien. I really want to bring attention back to how you said that your cousin got involved in the program because
Oh,
you
yeah.
kind of informed her about it. What did you tell her about the academy?
I mean, she was like she was not really passing her classes, and she had a couple of classes like algebra one in the past that she didn't complete. So I told her just go to Mr. Otero and he'll try to get you into the program. to get your credits that you need to graduate. And now she's doing it.
That's awesome. And so there may be students that are just like you in other schools, maybe in Chattanooga or maybe in some other part of Tennessee or across the nation. What advice would you give to another student about being involved in a flex program or about getting on track in general?
Uh, Join the program and try your hardest, because like if you're almost there, why waste your opportunity? And since there's a program now that you can join and get your credits up, yeah, take it.
And is there anything else you'd like to share with anyone regarding your experience being a part of this special program?
Enjoy it, because like now I'm on the point of graduating, and I'm really grateful for that.
And that's awesome. Thank you for sharing your voice with us. And we're here with another voice from the field. Can you tell us your name and tell us what you do here at the Howard School?
Well, hi, my name is Ricky Jones. I'm a dean of students here at the Howard School, and I actually am the coordinator for the Flex Academy.
Wow, the coordinator. So, what does being the coordinator mean for this particular program?
It has a lot to do with logistics, the ins and outs, the day-to-days, the routines, the structures. Um, Honestly, making impromptu decisions sometimes based off of data that we've received, academic, attendance, things of that nature. But just kind of being kind of a bring it all together type guy. We have a bunch of different sectors within the Flex Academy. So making sure that each sector is feeding the next so that we can kind of streamline everything and everybody's on point with what should be going on. But the coordinator situation is kind of like a holistic view of it all. Um, Again, just bringing it all together to make sure that each piece is benefiting the next piece.
And so, I know that you spoke about data. What types of data do you all review uh, for the Flex Academy?
I know me personally, I'm big off into the attendance. I try to make sure that we're on the up and up when it comes to attendance, which we have been, which is something that I'm actually quite proud of. Um, but then still speaking on the attendance, making sure that all attendance is accounted for, whether it be through Zoom, whether it be in person. We have some kids who are working from a distance online. Those kids we label online. But then again, just making sure attendance is on point. Um, some other data pieces. We have what's called the Individualized Student Program, and so basically that is each student's way in which they will then graduate from the Howard School based off of the factors that they brought to us that they needed some supplemental help with. Now, I can also speak on data preferences in regards to some of that supplemental help because it's not traditional at all. I appreciate the non-traditionality of it all, just because it then brings out what you have inside. That the empathy has to come out. You got to make sure that you're looking out for the best for the student, opposed to how you feel and what you want. Hence the flex, you know. So I can dive off into that a little later on. I'm pretty sure you have questions about that, but that being here and being versatile is a key component of the staff that we have to actually execute.
I know that the students that we deal with in the Flex Academy are seniors. And I recall from a previous conversation that walking into this process of beginning the Flex Academy, I think you all began in late February or mid-February with this particular program. So walking into this, we had several students that had not completed their FAFSA. Can you talk about that particular process and what you all did to move up to almost 85% of those students having submitted it?
So the Flex Academy it's for the seniors to recover classes and also sustain classes that they're currently in. The wraparound services are the supplemental pieces that I talk about from the home, the home life, things that are not so traditional that we supplement and help out with. But then the post-secondary situation, um, you have to have, you don't have to have a FAFSA to go to college, but for the students that we serve, they need the FAFSA completed because that's going to provide them with, well, that's going to provide the government with the information that they need to know that our kids need that our kids need some help. And so if we're on the front lines, giving them all of the support that they need academically here on the forefront, then we definitely have to make sure that we fill out FAFSAs for each one of those students so they can then keep going. What I've also noticed in this program is that once we bring them in and they see the support that we're going to give them, they bring other students in. Um, they also get excited themselves. And so once you get off into that vibe, and I like to call it a vibe, once you get into that vibe of the flex, then it's kind of contagious. But of course, the kicker is if you already weren't engaged academically, then I gotta go find you. I gotta get you engaged. I gotta at least get you in the environment so you can see what can happen. And then you're gonna kind of get hooked, and then you're gonna bring somebody else. So FAFSA completions, it was a big must. I can't send you to college if honestly, I can't send you to college if you don't have all the things you need to go. Um, we have kids that want to go to various schools, some in state, some out of state. Um, Having that FAFSA conversation with them, just the conversation alone, it gives them several different options, because a lot of kids think that they have to do everything by themselves, and then they get lost in what they don't know. And then we can never get to them to let them know what they can do. And so having that initial FAFSA conversation, first of all, it gives them some options based off of what they already have and what they bring to the table. But then it also reassures them that, hey, we're moving to the next place. This is not it. So in the meantime, while we work on these classes and we fill this FAFSA out, I need you to be thinking what you want to do next. Drives that conversation completely. FAFSA does that. And we have flown through the roof with FAFSA completions.
I noticed when we looked at your most recent data submissions. So that's amazing to go from zero to such a high number in such a short amount of time. That really brings a microscopic view to the impact that this Flex Academy program has had with the students at the Howard School. Talking earlier with Dr. Ware, we talked about how the school population of the Howard School is very diverse. We also talked about how the same diversity exists in the Flex Academy program. And as a logistics coordinator, and as you reflect over time, what outcomes have you noticed with students who were entering this program with uh, chronic absenteeism already being in their academic experience? What outcomes have you noticed since the inception of this program to now regarding anything with students that are a part of this program?
Okay, so we have what we used to call dark students. Those kids we just could not find when we first went virtual. So last March, I think it was, when everything just kind of shut down and we wanted to continue education, but we didn't know how. But then we said virtual. Well, when we went virtual, I remember taking a virtual class in college. I thought I could just just show up, just do this little situation over here and be fine. That is not the case when it comes to virtual learning. And so we had a lot of kids just say, you know what? I don't want anything to do with this. I'm not accustomed to this. I've been going to school for the past 14, 15, 16, 17 years. Why am I now doing this, to get my academic education? And so reaching out to those dark students, we had to get them first. Um, Once we get to a dark kid, then they show up in the school, and students who hadn't seen them in a long time, they get excited. Teachers who hadn't seen them in a while, they get excited. Admin gets excited. And then all of a sudden you got another vibe. Well, we have to feed off that vibe. And so the more dark children I can bring in, the more excited people get, but then the momentum drives. And the big thing, people have more hope about graduating. And so once we instill that hope with bringing in kids that were thought to be forgotten, and we're on to something. Attendance has gone up, at least from the standpoint of the students that were dark that we went and got for the Flex Academy. It has gone up tremendously, whether it be in person, Zoom, or virtual learning.
That is amazing. The work that you all do at the Howard School and in this program is to be extremely commended. I know earlier that when we talked about you working with logistics, and I know that logistics is heavily connected to resources.
Right.
In earlier conversations that we had with Dr. Ware, Ms. Ghazi, and students, they talked a lot about providing motivation, and the students talked a lot about receiving support and encouragement and how that made them feel. I want to ask you, what resources, in addition to providing extra hours for students to learn and providing an alternative way for them to learn, whether that be in person or on Zoom, what additional resources would a program like this need in order to be successful?
Okay, so one of the biggest slash key components of our staff is the relationship build. We've drawn together a group of people from inside the building and outside of the building that they just build great relationships. They know the content, but they build great relationships with students. And it's not based off of just us thinking that they do. We've had feedback come from other teachers, from the students, that just kind of let us know that the relationship that they have built with the teachers that are in the Flex Academy is what brings them back. That's one resource. So we also have what's called Tech Goes Home. Tech Goes Home is actually going to provide brand new Chromebooks to each one of the students who completes the Flex Academy program. Of course, if they complete the Flex Academy program, then they have just graduated. The cool thing about that is they leave with that Chromebook. I know normally in the school systems, once you finish up, then you got to return your things and you go on, and then you have to figure everything out. Well, Tech Goes Home is going to actually allow them to keep the Chromebook and everything that comes with it. So anything else that they have to do electronic going along the way, they can get that done, whether that be filling out applications for occupations, whether that be filling out applications for college and career readiness, whatever that may be. They have the device now to do so. And of course, the district slash, I'm not sure if it's the state, but I know the district is providing all students with internet for free. Now, that's not something that the Howard School is doing, but we have offset that by making sure that we have a liaison here that reaches out to every student that's in the Flex Academy or any other program here to make sure that they have taken advantage of the free internet opportunity. And so that coincides with, again, the device that they're going to be able to take away from the program, which coincides with the diploma that they're going to be walking away from the program with, which also coincides with these relationships that they just built with the teachers that just helped them get along. Because keep in mind, I had the Transition Academy last year, and I still have students calling me saying, "I appreciate it, thank you. Now, what can you do for me?" And so it is an ongoing situation when it comes to resources. We have wraparound services here. Our wraparound services, they provide. I know we just had a student who had a house fire last week. Our wraparound services through our family partnership specialists came through, provided clothes, provided food, anything else that family needed, so we could at least hit the basics of the essentials. So then they could come and then focus more on the academic part, opposed to how they feel while in school. So our program, man, I'm not really trying to brag on it, but I am, because it's got so many components based off of what the needs of the child were. And so I don't think we sat and came up with everything before we talked to a child first. We had to talk to them first to find out, well, what do you need? Okay, well, what are you doing right now? Okay, well, how often are you doing it? Okay, well, what times are you free? Okay, well, do you work better virtually? Do you work? I had to find out about the kid, hence the relationship. Once that relationship got strong enough, first of all, once they trusted me enough, and whomever their lead teacher was, once they trusted us enough to give us this information, then we utilized the information to come up with a plan for them. And they noticed that their plan didn't look like anybody else's. So that right there alone, it's like, oh, okay, so you really paying attention to me. Yeah, I am. Because that's what we started out to do. So that's what we're going to finish with.
Providing voices to students and created a program that is designed specifically for students is paramount. And would you attribute to the success that you all are seeing early on in this program to the early research that you all did with students prior to the onset of the academy?
Yes. At the same time, we had somewhat of a blueprint because the Flex Academy, in my opinion, evolved from what we first had called the Transition Academy. The Transition Academy dealt with the non-traditional student that may or may not be a senior, but their non-traditionality is like way off the board. And so when we found out, not really, well, when we figured out that we could take 13 of the hardest cases ever, and through I say a good 2 to 3 months while in school, and then everything shifting over to the summer situation, we figured out that we could get those 13 students across the stage. And obviously other people figured out, wow, they got those 13. It became a trend. And it's like, okay, well, we have a blueprint. We have some structure behind this situation. Now, I will say, like you said earlier, the biggest part was getting that student feedback, because in the first program, we didn't have student feedback. We had a set time, we had a set place, we had a set curriculum, and they had to come in and adhere to that situation. And they did. At the same time, when you roll over to a Flex Academy, this is something for everyone. You know, this is your reason to try again. You know, so we don't leave any stone unturned. All barriers we feel like we're kicking down as they come, because this thing is still going, it's still evolving. But I will say we're not turning anything away. We're trying to make sure we can do what's best for everyone that is involved or that wants to be involved.
Mr. Jones, with students and staff from the Howard School, we've learned about flexible hours, we learned about resources, we've learned about data, we've learned about goals. And we've heard about what this program means to students individually, and we've heard about the impact that staff feels that they've had on students through this program. So if you had to give advice to any school in any part of the nation as they would be preparing to provide alternatives to students such as those that we've spoken with today, what would that advice be?
Take yourself out of it. Observe the student's case for what it is. Then find all the students that have whatever cases they have. Appeal everything to those students. Get yourself out of the way for however long your program is going to be going on. Talk to your families first, because they need to understand that the work that you're about to do, which may sometimes cause for students to call you in non-traditional times, dealing with a non-traditional program. But at the end of the day, know that you're about to make a huge difference in a child's life. And in the cases that we're dealing with, it's not just the child that we're making a difference in, it's the whole family. So my advice, there is no barrier. Figure it out.
Mr. Jones, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for your commitment. And most importantly, thank you for your energy that you give to the students at the Howard School each and every day. I'm Tanisha Houston with TNTP. This has been another voice from the field.